So in today's video, I want to go over cold emailing or cold outreach. At a certain point in your agency career, you're going to have to reach out to new people, and cold email outreach has got to be one of them. And in this video, I'm going to go over the system that I use, the platform, and how we implement it. And so let's get to it. Hey, my name is Paul Kim, and I help consultants and agency and especially beginners get their first high-level client or their next. Before we even look into AI and automations, we focus on the fundamentals. And so in today's video, let me give you a little bit of context to what I'm talking about. And so if you've been following me in the journey of what I've been doing, so right now, I currently have a client that's a driving school, and we've been able to get them results. And so I'm utilizing those results to basically get a better, hopefully a better response from this outreach, email outreach. And so, however, if you don't have any clients and you're doing this for the first time, or not necessarily first time, if you're solely relying on email outreach, that is not what you should be doing. Especially if you're a new beginner, you have to, if you want to get immediate results, the best way to get results is basically starting conversations by calling people, right? Whether it's your warm lead or cold leads. That is the best way. And and just to kind of give you a full context, the reason I'm doing this cold outreach, email outreach, is because I'm automating it. But I've thought about this and I'm executing this with a little bit of clarity, right? But I want to give you the full understanding that I would not recommend this if you are just starting out, and don't use this as your primary source of getting clients. All right. So with that said, let's go into the platform that we're going to be using. It's called Instantly. And now, before I talk about why I'm using Instantly rather than using HighLevel, which is the platform that I use in my everyday business, HighLevel utilizes Mailgun, right? And the emails that goes out is not going to hit the inbox in most instances, whereas Instantly is the way the email is being delivered. It's actually utilizing the STML, the SMTP. Like, if you don't know what SMTP is, don't worry about it. It's utilizing the, in this case, the Google Workspace email system. And so the likelihood of hitting the recipient's inbox, as long as you set it up properly, is very, very close to probably 99%. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Instantly, all the things that you need to be aware of when you're setting it up. All right, so let's get to it, and I'll share my screen and we'll go through the setup and all the things to consider when setting up Instantly. All right, and I'll put the link. It's an affiliate link. If you do plan to use it, I appreciate it if you can use the affiliate link. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be utilizing Instantly as the platform to send out cold emails. The reason we're using this is because Instantly uses Google Workspace um, we, as the sending platform. So it's utilizing SMTP. It's as if you are sending an email from your own email account. And so one of the prerequisites that you will need to do is to have your own domain, and also set up a Google I, I think it's called Google Workspace, or it could be Google Suites. And so basically, the ability to send out from your own email account, right? Using your custom domain. And so another word of caution, another tip here is if you do have your own, let's say you have a domain, let's call it whatever, yourbrand.com, right? When you're using Instantly, I would set up a separate domain. So what I mean by that is because in the event that you're sending out mass amount of cold emails, and if somebody marks it as spam, then what's going to happen is that domain is going to get affected, and you don't want your main domain that you're using to communicate with your clients to get affected. And so for example, so if you have your yourbrand.com, it would be you could get yourbrand.co, yourbrand.net, or some other domain. Okay, I would try to stick with your domain and just use another .co possibly io or something like that. .net is another possibility. All right, so let's go log in, and let me switch to the screen. And once we're logged in, one of the things that we need to do is we need to go into account, and we need to set up the email account that Instantly is going to connect to send out the email campaigns. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to add new, and there are different ways that you can set it up. You can pay for a done for you setup email. I'm not sure how much it costs, but I'm going to do it DIY basically. All right, and so you have the ability to use other platforms. I prefer using Google G Suite or Workspace. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to connect. I already have mine connected, but for the purposes of this video, I want to go over the specific things that you need to do to make sure that it's connected. And so um, when you have connected your Google Space, make sure that you have the necessary DNS settings that is necessary. So which is um, the SPF, DKIM, and the DMARC. And so those three DNS settings have to be set. Okay. Um, if you don't know how to set them, I'm not going to go over it in this video. What I would recommend is that you join my community, and there will be training. I don't have it currently, but I will have training in here and how to go and specifically put those DNS settings. Okay, you can probably Google and find out how to do those, but I will put those specific trainings to make it easy for you in my under the resources in my community. Okay, all right. So there are two ways to set up and connect this platform to your Google Workspace. Um, Option one is the best way. Option two, what's going to happen is that it's going to be there's going to be prone to disconnection. So use option one here. So we're going to click on this, and then what you're going to do is you're going to need to be logged into your Google Workspace account, right? And when you click on this, it's going to take you to that specific admin panel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video because the account that I'm setting in it for, I'm going to log into that browser, so that way when I click on it, it's going to take me to the right place. Okay, all right, so this specific browser, I'm logged into the Gmail that's associated with the account that I want to sign up on. And so when I click on this, it's going to take me to the admin panel. All right, so I'm logging in, and then it's going to take me to the specific page. Now, I already have it set up here, but what you would do is you would, if you read the instructions here, it says configure new app, right? So configure new app. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go and copy, and it's already copied. And then you're going to paste, and then you're going to search. And as you can see here, Instantly O authorization email version 1. And then you're going to click on this, and then you're going to sign into all organization, and then you're going to continue, and then you're going to click on trusted, and then we're going to go ahead and continue, and then you're going to click finish. Now I saw that V1 is here. I think it's already configured already, so it whether it overrode it, it's not going to create the new one over again. Okay, and so once that's set, then what we're going to do is we're going to click log in, right? And then it's going to pull this window, and then we're going to click on the specific email that you want to associate with this account, and then you're going to click that, and then you're going to click continue, and then you're going to click allow, and now it's going to go and connect, and now it's connected. And then let's go, it should have refreshed, but let's go back and see if that account is listed in the. All right, so as you can see, it's blurred out, but this is the account that I just created. And so what I want to do is I want to go in there and set it up so that this green indication is meaning that it's warming up. And the reason we want to warm up the account is because if you get a brand new email account, you can't, if you start sending a mass number of emails, the the IP or Google is going to know that you're utilizing this account for spamming or for email marketing purposes, and so it doesn't like that. And so what you want to do is you want to at least warm it up for at least not a year. I would say probably a month is probably a good time frame. Um, all right, so let's go into this account and let's go through the settings. Now, you want to update the name and last name of whoever is going to be sending out this campaign. So your first name and last name. I would use your name rather than a business, right? So, and then if you want to add a signature, you can put it in here as well, or you can put it into the email, the specific email that you're sending out. Either way, um, it would work. You just want to make sure you test it out. Now, this is where the daily limit here is minimum wait time. Here, I would say, depending, I would recommend that you enable this. Especially if it's a new account, right? If it's not a new account, I don't think it really matters, but I would especially gradually increase the number of campaigns emails per day. I would definitely enable that and just keep everything the same. I would set this custom tracking as well. How you would do that is you would enable, and then you would put these records into your DNS for your specific domain. So I would definitely go ahead and utilize this because it helps with tracking some of the, I guess, the links associated within your email campaign. This is only, I'm using this as a test to show you how to go about doing this. So it doesn't really matter for my purposes. I think I already set it up. If I click save, it should automatically go in there. The other thing that you want to do is in your Gmail account, right? Because what's going to happen is that when you start warming up the account, it's going to start sending and receiving emails utilizing this tag. And so what you want to do is create a filter in your Gmail account so that if it sees this tag, it'll put them automatically into a label that you create so it doesn't clog up your inbox. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Okay, increase per day, daily warm up limit 10. Just leave everything as is, right? So here, so this is not recommended for new accounts, right? If you had this email for for some time, I would just, you can click it, but I would just leave it as is. Um, and then let me see, usually I don't mess around with any of these. And then let's go ahead and save it. Okay. So then once everything is saved, you can X out of this and then you can click on this enable warm up. And then what's going to happen is it's going to start sending emails and by itself automatically. And so as you can see here, this is the number of emails that it's been sending. I don't know for how many time period. All right, so we are in the email account that I'm going to be utilizing to send out the emails. And I've had this email for quite some time. And as you can see here, I already have a label. So I already created a label. It's just a matter of creating a label here and then call it instantly warm up. And um, what you need to do is you need to make sure you go into settings. And what you need to do is to go into filters, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to create a filter, right, which has the words, the tag that I mentioned, and then I guess you will continue, right, and then you want to skip the inbox, right, then it's going to archive it, mark as read, apply the label, right, and you want to move it into instantly, and then never send to spam, always mark it as important, and then what you're going to do is you're going to create that filter. And so moving forward, when you receive, so what instantly does is it will send emails to the people that are in the instantly network. I think that's how it works. And when you receive the email, it'll automatically go into the filter. It'll also, when you send it out, sending it out is not as important. It's when you receive the emails, it's gonna don't so that it doesn't clutter up their inbox. Okay, and so um, that's already set, and so we're good to go. And only thing that we need to do is to set up the campaign. So setting up the campaign, you would go over here to campaign. And so I'm just going to quickly show you how to set up a campaign, and you will click on campaign, right? All right, so we're going to create a new campaign, and I already have a campaign that I went back and forth um, with ChatGPT and pretty much narrowed it down after kind of dissecting it, and finally came up with let's see this email. Let's see here. All right, so basically, I started off asking ChatGPT based on some input, and then I kind of started fine tuning it, going back and forth with ChatGPT, and then we came up with the shorter version, right? So then, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create. Um, I'm just going to move this over to the side on my other, so that way I can put it here. So it will call this driving school campaign. Okay. Um, let's call it campaign one because I may decide to move later on if I do campaign two with another state. So that way I know that's campaign one. All right. So what we're going to do here is this is analytics. This gives you the analytics of how many were sent out, how many people replied, and so forth. this is where you input the leads. This is the email sequence. And so here is where you put the subject line. And so I'm going to copy this here, quick demo for, and then here. So another thing is when you're doing personalization, you cannot personalize it until you have put in the at least one contact. And so um, so before I even add a sequence, I usually typically add a lead. And so I would typically add myself. And so I'm going to add manually. Okay. And so typically I would enter the emails manually, but in this case, because I want to utilize personalization of this driving school name, what I'm going to utilize is I'm going to use a CSV file. Either way, it doesn't matter. You could use Google Sheets or you could use CSV. Because I previously used Outscraper to pull a bunch of driving schools, I'm going to be utilizing a Microsoft Word document, all right? Actually, I mean Excel spreadsheet. And so let me pull up a blank Excel sheet. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in here. So when you're pulling information from Outscaper, most of the time they're not going to have the name, name meaning the person's name, right? But they will have the business name. So most of the email is going to go out saying hello, right? So there's no, so it will be just email and then the, let's call it business name. And so those are the two variables that we need to um, send over to the import in here. So actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put in a dummy email. And so let's just pull it Smith at yahoo.com. And then we'll call it Smith Driving School, right? And you know what? I'm just going to put in here the email so that way for the purposes of to make sure that the email is going into the right, put in support at K Madison because that's the email that I don't mind giving out because if most people know this email address. So if you're watching this, that's the email you can reach out to us. Okay, and then we'll call it K Madison Driving School. Okay. Right, and so that is the two variables. That's pretty much it, I think. Okay, and then we're gonna save this as let's call this, we're going to this has to be saved as a CSV, okay? CSV, and we'll call it import driving school, right? Okay, and then we'll click, let's call it, just put it in document so I can find it, okay? Import, okay, the CSV, let's get out of it, and then enter upload CSV, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just look for that file in here it is. I'm just pulling it from the other screen, and let's call it import, and let's just upload. And so as you can see, email business school. All right, so the business name, we do want to import that. Now we want to import that as a personalization. Let's see if there is a, we'll put it as company name, right? And then I usually check all this off. So because if I've used, basically what this does is if it checks for duplicates and it won't import it if it's already in a campaign or list or any of the other places. I don't need to verify these. If you want verify these, I think there's a charge for that. I use another service for that. That's something that definitely you should do, because if you are sending in instantly and the emails get bounced back certain number of times or certain percentage, that will degrade your domain, your email reputation, and also I think instantly has a certain amount that it will stop your campaigns, right? If you get too many bounces, okay? And so definitely um, checking your email is one thing you should do before you start importing and sending out emails, okay? So let's upload. So the reason why we're doing this is because we want to create personalization, right? So the lead went in here, as you can see right here, right? Okay. Um, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create the email, okay? And so quick demo. So let me copy that over. Quick demo for, and then when you do personalization, there is this insert variable, and you can put company name right there, right? And then here, let's go ahead and copy. I'll just type in hello, right? And then let me just copy. Oh wait, in demo. Okay, and copy. Now let's do paste. We will recently helped a driving school generate 120 additional leads. The project showed us how important it is for driving school to capture every single student inquiries. I created a quick AI receptionist demo specifically for. I'm gonna take this. This is from ChatGPT, so we're gonna insert the variable. So now this variable is for the subject. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna insert variable, and we're gonna put in here company name, right? And then showing how after hour calls could be answered and automatic. Would you like me to send it over? And then here, as I said in the initial email, you can put your signature here, or you can put it in the signature portion in the account, right? Either way, I think it works, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then in the schedule, right? So in the schedule here, this is where you can set it for whatever time frame. I usually set it for 8 to about 7, right? So I don't want to go beyond 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then sometimes I include Saturdays, depending on how aggressive I want to be in sending out the campaign. And then here under options, this is where you have to select the email account that you've connected, right? And that's going to be a drop down, and you select the email, the account that you want to utilize to start sending out the emails. And then here it says stop sending emails on reply. Now, this is if you have multiple um, like emails campaigns. So there could be an email that you sent out day 0, and then 7 days later another email goes out. So if somebody replies to it, then they'll stop the following email is going to stop. Okay, so in this case, we're just sending out one email and that's it. This is where you would definitely want to enable tracking of where there's being open, and if you want to track the links associated within there, you can also do link tracking as well, right? I do want to track that it's when people open it, so I do want to enable that. So here, if you do send the email as text-based, because typically those get better deliverability, then this is get disabled, because then you can't track the emails, because you get the better deliverability but you don't have the ability to um, track whether it's been opened or not. So you, there's no right and wrong way. It really depends on if you really want to see, if somebody clicked on a link or if somebody actually opened it. And then here, um, this is where you can set the limits of how many that you want to go out. So typically, I would send out 20 and then I could increase it to 30 and then more per day, right? This is good because what I would typically set it for 20. And then when those emails go out to those specific businesses, then I would make the follow-up call the next day to follow up. That's pretty much my plan of action. Okay, I'm gonna click on save, and there are some advanced options here, but I rarely utilize these because the only thing that I would utilize is here when I have multiple campaigns going out, or what I mean by that, when I have multiple emails that are being sent. So let's say emails, there I have, let's say, 5 emails going out after every couple of days. Now the system is going to be sending out multiple emails depending on where contacts are within the campaign and if I'm adding new campaigns. And so if you want to prioritize new leads going out to the, to new leads going out, then you click on this. And so this has helped in pushing out new leads to go out first rather than prioritizing those already in the campaign, and sending out the emails later on in the campaign. Okay. These others I don't really bother with because it is a lot. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and I'm going to enable this and enable the open tracking. And then once I select the um, the account, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the campaign, and then the email will go out, and then I would check it and I would test it out before I start adding more contacts into the campaign. And then once it's set, then you just let it run, and whoever replies is um, then will I guess in my future videos I'm going to be showing you what's been working. I may tweak the emails as we go along, but it all depends. And I'll give you a breakdown uh, in the future, not necessarily a breakdown, but give you an update on what has worked or what doesn't work. And if you want to follow along and see how things are going, subscribe to my channel. And this is it. This is a nutshell, a pretty short tutorial in my case, right? In my opinion, this is what you do, right? If you follow along and do exactly what I just showed you, you should be able to start sending out cold email campaign using Instantly. All right. I put the link to Instantly below. Check it out and subscribe and follow along with me. Okay. Thanks.